Good morning all, I am Nandhini working as an assistant professor in National College of Engineering at the Department of Computer Science and Technology. Today we are going to see a topic on generalization, specialization and aggregation in ER model in database management system. What is a generalization? Generalization is nothing but in general a process has been extracting in common properties from a set of entities and creating a generalization entity format. It is a bottom up approach because from bottom up only it gets approached. For example, there is an entity, it is in the first, starts from entity A. Second one is an attribute. It goes in the way of bottom up approach. For example, student and faculty can be generalized to a high level entity called person as follows. In the case, common attribute like first name and become part of a higher entity, and specialization attributes like SP becomes part of a specialization entity for a student. Next one is a specialization. In the specialization, an entity is divided into sub entities based on its characteristics. It is a top down approach. From the top it gets from the down. Entity starts from the top and attributes gets down. Or the high level entity is specialized into two or more levels of entities. For example, an employee entity in an employee management system can be specialized into developer, tester, etc. For example, first, if an project has been allocated, they are getting a developer's idea, they are making an idea, web has been designed, developer is developing the product, and the tester is testing it and analyzing it, how it gets worked. So in the second case, common attributes like name, salary, employee name, employee salary, etc. becomes part of higher entity because, for example, employee and specialization attribute as a test type becomes part of specialization sub. Of tester, specialization has been analyzed with the help of specialization. Next one, in specialization, there are some types with inheritance, attribute inheritance, and particular inheritance. What is an inheritance? Inheriting some, for example, in simple or general words, we can say inheritance means from gathering from the parents. For example, it is an important feature of a generalization specialization. Inheritance is nothing but we are inheriting one gender or some hormone or something like generally from one parent to the children is known as inheritance. It is an attribute inheritance. This attribute inheritance allows lower level entities to inherit the attribute of higher level entities and vice versa. Car entities and for example, car entity is an inheritance of vehicle. If a general attribute is an vehicle, from that a car gets inherited. So car can be acquired attribute of vehicle. Example, car can acquire model attribute of vehicle. So vehicle is an entity. From that vehicle, a car has been inherited. That car gives, there will be many model or attribute for a car and a vehicle. Next one is a participation inheritance. In participation inheritance, relationship involved high level entity set are also inherited by low level entity and vice versa. For example, vehicle entity has a relationship with the cycle entity. So cycle entity can acquire attributes of low level entity. For example, car and bus, since it is the inheritance of vehicle. Next one is an aggregation. An ER diagram is not capable of representing the relationship between an entity and a relationship which may be required in some scenarios. In those cases, a relationship with its corresponding entity is aggregate into a high level entity. Aggregation is an abstract through which we can represent the relationship as high level entity sets. For example, an employee working on a project may require some machinery. So required relationship is needed between the relationship worker for and entity machinery. So in this generalization is an attribute with a person and its specialized terms. In specialization, we have an employee with this test case and then lower level of employees. In next one is an inheritance. In this we have seen an bottom up approach and top down approach. Attribute inheritance with a car, which is vehicle is an entity and the car is being inherited from it. And in this in the vehicle entity, a cycle can be an entity of it. In an aggregation, some workers needs a missionary, requires a relationship between them. So these are all generalization, specialization has been given to an Aggregation. What is aggregation? From this generalization and specialization, we are aggregating something. For example, if a vehicle is an entity, from the vehicle entity, we are inheriting a car. From the car, the model is being, we are aggregating it. The model is being getting aggregated. This is known as in generalization, specialization, aggregation. Thank you so much.